I would just like to take the floor with the consent of the chairman and the chancellor. Thank you very much for being so kind with me. I would like to greet, through them, Bocconi University. The deputy chair would like to greet the deputy chair of the Constitutional Court, the president of the region, the ambassadors, the general consuls that are present, the mayor, who, when we cut the ribbon at the new campus, stressed out how Milan experienced a new moment of dynamism that is so important nowadays. I would like to greet the chancellors of other universities, all the authorities that are present here, the teaching staff, those who work in Bocconi, the administrative and technical staff, and of course students. I would like to greet Senator Liliana Segre. Thank you very much for the message you constantly convey that we shouldn't be indifferent to hate and prejudice. Bocconi, with respect to this, is also an answer, also with reference to this topic, with the criteria of education and training that Chairman Monti reminded us when he was cutting the ribbon, the training and education that is aimed at creating critical spirit and sense of responsibility, the true antidotes to hate and prejudice. Bocconi also responds from this point of view with 15,000 students out of the 99,000 students coming from different nationalities with its international dimension. Professor Monti has already spoken about the being included in Europe, trusting Europe, this trust in this historical process of integration that is enhanced and made more solid by this texture of research and education that is common throughout Europe as it's strengthened and reinforced by the growth of a generation of students that feel European beside belonging to their own countries. Bocconi, from this point of view, is also an excellent example of our country. It's one of the most prestigious universities in Europe, a reference point all over the world. The constellation of universities in Milan is a precious asset for your city, dear Mayor Sala and President of the region. It's important for Italy as well. We have just visited the new premises, we have inaugurated the new campus, so this is just another moment that stresses out the role of Bocconi in our country and in this city. The fascinating design that we saw finally created, its full environmental sustainability, the openness to the city. They represent and express what a student just told me a few minutes ago. I believe her name is Giulia Gargiulo. When we entered the building, I met a representation of students, and the girl, the young woman, told me the importance of the centricity of students. The activity of Bocconi as a whole highlights the centricity of students. Professor Monti, you have just reminded us the fundamental importance of preparation, education, training, competence. Your whole speech was in defense of competence. The Chancellor said, going through these complex times, we have a risk. We might have delusional trends, attempts at simplifying. It is true, dear Professor Verona, throughout history, novelties, changes have resulted in confusion, desires to go back to the past. This is specifically true these days when we have changes that are so fast and so significant. So the temptation generates the desire to simplify what is complex, but this is just delusional. Because on the other hand, complex changes cannot be overlooked, cannot be disregarded. They need to be dealt with competence and with awareness to govern them in order not to be invested by that. This is extremely important. You also said something else among the various interesting items you mentioned before. You explained the role and the structure of Bocconi, not just in terms of numbers and indication of programs and activities, but also the reasons behind these activities. Dear Mr. Chancellor, you spoke about the need to go beyond the disciplines that are isolated one from each other, that are segregated. This is something that was also mentioned by Chairman Monti. He spoke about an interdisciplinary approach. There is a coincidence. We are coming from a period when we exalted specialization, but we are reconsidering this option. And it's very significant that this happens in the anniversary of Leonardo da Vinci. At that time, he used to span from engineering, hydraulics, art, literature. The fact that these days we are clearly perceiving the need that we cannot imagine knowledge if it's divided and secluded in different sectors. This is true for every subject. This is true in the indispensable, inevitable interaction between medicine and engineering and research, for diagnosis, for therapy. It is even true for economics, which is at center stage in social and civil life. The rector, a few minutes ago, told us with a metaphor that now economics is becoming egocentric. He stressed out as enterprise cannot be interpreted, cannot be only limited to the approach of the shareholder, who almost always only focuses on profit. It cannot coincide with the approach of the manager that aims at success for the sake of success, sometimes because of personal competitiveness. You have drawn an image of an enterprise that participates of society as a whole in its various aspects. And so it's an enterprise that is careful and that is prone to social cohesion, that is in itself a driver of economic growth. This underlines how Bocconi has at its center the complete picture of human beings. And I have this image of the young student who told me a few minutes ago that there are 70 associations of Bocconi students ranging from all aspects of social life. This is a way to express, this is a way for students to express how it is impossible to express just a part of the aspects of human beings. And with this, I wish you all the best for the academic year.